up, my dragons? It is Sai from the Sai Does Things channel. It is December 24th as I'm recording this. Yeah, surprising, isn't it? Everyone thought that this year would go by slow, I feel like. And no, it's gone by like 3 times faster than usual. Which is great, considering I told myself I'd make 20 videos this year, and I made like 5. Yeah. I'm not wearing anything really that festive, actually. Considering this is the Christmas special of the channel and all that. Give me a second, guys. I know this is the same exact sweater I wore last year, but I have no other Christmassy attire. My entire wardrobe is black. So this is the most festive I'll ever get. And no, I'm not wearing the headband again. But, I don't actually have a video planned. I'm so great at this. I'm great at YouTube, as you can tell. I guess I'll kind of just talk about, like, what I'm grateful for. I can't go over the history of Christmas because I don't know the history of Christmas. I just know it's tied to Christianity. And not everyone celebrates Christmas. Some people celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or a bunch of other things that I don't even know the names of. Should I even be making a Christmas video? Something... I'm sorry, guys. I have to take this call real quick. The iconic Sai Does Things flip phone is currently ringing. Which is probably not good. Who is this? You sound like really similar to me. Like, almost identical. What do you mean I have to make another Hallmark video? We made Hallmark videos last year and then like 2 years before that. And I'm not one for unoriginal content here, whoever you are. What do you mean it's annual now? Well, I guess we're doing this again. If you want the full recap on what Hallmark Channel is and why I hate it, you can go watch the 2 previous videos about it. Because the first one has a great explanation of why I hate it, and the second one has a great explanation for what it even is. But to sum it all up, Hallmark Channel is a company known for horrible movies and cards. That is about it. And also, I guess TV shows. Last year, when we watched a Hallmark movie, we watched... I can't even remember what it's called. It was basically a spy movie, which was pretty interesting. And honestly, it was somewhat intriguing up until the end. The end kind of got wrapped up way too cleanly when it really shouldn't have. And there were too many convenient things for the main characters. And of course, they ended up together. So, yeah. And this year I can't show like any black boxes where the movie should be, because fun fact, getting your video taken down in your country and your country alone is not very fun when you need to be able to watch the video and share it to your friends who also live in your country. So, yeah. Instead, I'm going to be taking notes on the movie using my phone, and then I will like read them off, I guess, so I can have a basic plot summary, and then I'll go over it at the end. If I have the energy to. Also, fun fact, this is the second to last video you will see this desk in because I'm getting a new one. Yeah. Heads up, the movie has started. It is called A Very Merry Mix-Up. This is the little poster thing. Yeah. Well, that was a movie. Hi, this is me, AC, after I watched the movie. It was honestly a lot worse than last year's. But let's recap the plot. Also, I'll be splicing in the clips of me reacting to the movie where I see fit. So, in the beginning of the movie, the main character girl, whose name is Alice, Alice tells her boyfriend, Will. I think this movie is gonna have a breakup because the main character, I'm assuming the main character, started the movie with a boyfriend. The story of the clockmaker and the girl. Basically, a girl and a clockmaker fall in love. The girl's in an arranged marriage. The clockmaker makes her a beautiful clock. The girl gets the clock, and then the girl, the clock stops time, and then the girl runs and marries the clockmaker, and they live happily ever after. Will is a very business-oriented man. I called him business boyfriend in these notes. And then, they go to a fancy restaurant and have the most secondhand embarrassment-inducing engagement scene ever. Oh my god, the boyfriend is making a scene in a public restaurant where he's like confessing how much that he okay, that's a proposal. The boyfriend just proposed in a public restaurant. The boyfriend literally like stands up. He like stands up, like taps his glass to get everyone's attention, and then he says, something about like I don't know exactly what he said, but he proposes to her, and she said yes, but it seems like she's really under pressure. She said, yeah? That is not how you respond to a proposal if you truly love the person, I'd assume. And then, so Alice has a Christmas fixation. She loves Christmas. She loves everything about Christmas. And Will has a business fixation. He is too focused on business. And he wants to sell the antique store that Alice runs that was given to her by her grandfather. And then since they're engaged now, Alice wants to meet his parents, and so Alice is sent to the airport alone to meet his parents. And then a whole bunch of stuff happens, and then we meet Matt. Matt is a very like crafty, arts and crafts, homey kind of guy. Okay, I think we're about to meet love interest boy. I bet you can guess who's the love interest here. And then he spills coffee on her, which causes her phone to be broken. And he apologizes, and then they figure out that the boy, Matt, is actually Will's brother. And Alice is like, whoa, no way, you can drive me there. And then they go to drive there, very normal stuff. And then they get into a car crash. They just hit a tree with their car in the movie. The girl, Alice, that's her name. The girl dropped her wedding ring. Because, remember, she's engaged. And then they hit a tree. And then they woke up in the hospital. Your fingernails are very... You think it's going to escalate from here, but it really doesn't. They wake up in the hospital, they talk, they meet, the dad, they meet Matt and Will's dad, mother, and, dad and mom. And they all drive home, and then there's like a whole bunch of romantic stuff that happens. It is so obvious that they're in love. Oh my god, they're making Christmas cookies together at like 4 a.m. because they can't sleep for the entire 24 hours because of the accident. And then they're like playing with flashlights. They're doing things they're like throwing flour at each other. Oh my god, they have such good chemistry. I wonder if they're gonna get together. They go all out for Christmas. The parents are very into Christmas. Their home is very homey. It's like the classic Hallmark Channel Christmas house. They are not allowed to sleep. And then, we figure out that Will is way too business for real trees, which is not that important, but I have it written down. And then meanwhile, they are sharing tea together. And then meanwhile, with Will has now made the deal to sell the antique shop. You know, the antique shop that is run by his future wife. This is gonna go over so well. And then Matt gives a story time about something Will and him used to do in the past. We figure out that Matt can crochet and also build furniture. The way they said it in the movie was like, I crochet furniture. Like, how do you do that? How does one crochet furniture? But it was cleared up that he makes his furniture out of wood. They look at old pictures and then they fall asleep, which is not allowed. They're not supposed to be asleep. And then the grandpa arrives and he brings the real Christmas tree because you're only festive if you have a real Christmas tree. Otherwise, you're a business boy. And then we learn what is gonna be like the message of the movie. I don't think I wrote it down properly. Eternity is where true love is, or something. And then so I'm gonna put on the prediction that I make as to what the plot is. Okay, so like my current question is, what's the actual plot? Because there's been no like Christmas mix-up. The one mix-up there was them thinking that the girl was Matt's husband, who's the crafty dude, instead of Billy's fiance. Thinking the girl was the one dude's fiance instead of the other dude's. That's been the only mix-up, and it was cleared up immediately. The only thing I can think of is that she went to like the wrong family, and that's the mix-up. But I don't know. Other than that, it's just been like generic romance Christmas movie. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I should have done that earlier in the video. Oh well. And then, well, you're never gonna guess what happens. Oh my god, I was right. She went to the wrong house and met the wrong family. Oh my god, I was right. I predicted the plot. It was predictable from the name alone. So apparently, Will, Matt's brother, whose name is actually Billy, is not the same Will that Alice is engaged to. So, yeah. There's the whole mix-up. She's really embarrassed. And then Will, her fiance, comes to pick her up. Then they go to Will's house. Will's house is not very festive. There is no holliness or jolliness, no Christmas cheer. I made a second prediction after this, and I forgot to introduce it, so here it is. Okay, new prediction. Okay, she kissed him on the cheek. She kissed Matt on the cheek. New prediction. Will's family is not gonna like Alice, and then Alice and Will are gonna have a fight over the antique shop because he sold it. And then they're gonna break up, and then Alice and Matt are gonna get together. His mother is like the definition of like rich people. They're rich people. Yeah, I have no other way to describe them. And then they keep saying like everything happens for a reason, which again I think will be important. Well, it was important. And then at some point she starts reflecting on her life choices, and this is where you start to like root for the movie to end. Divorce! Because the entire rest of the movie pretty much is okay, so basically she goes and meets up with Matt, and Matt's like, hey, you're gonna make a huge mistake. I really don't think you should go through with any of this. He's like, he doesn't seem to love you. And then, and then there's a fight. And so Alice goes back to Will's house. And you start praying for their divorce because Will is doing all the wrong things. Will is so focused on business. And then, all right, at Billy's house, at Matt's house, they played this little game where you basically write a bunch of things about someone, and then you give it to that person anonymously, and then the person has to guess who wrote it about them. And then they play that game at their house, and the tension can be cut with a knife. There was so much tension. And then the Will reveals that he has gotten a deal to sell the shop without the knowledge of his wife, the owner of the shop. Yeah, I was pretty much begging for them to divorce here. Break up with your fiance! But, and then eventually she goes on a walk to, like, relax, because this is stressful for her. Then the grandpa comes in and throughout this, we're getting, like, clips of what Matt is doing, which is, like, he seems to be building something, and Grandpa goes to the house and drops off Matt's gift. And then, we get Will's other gift, which is a lease for a new store. People in relationships, listen to me. If you give your wife a lease for Christmas, she's going to divorce. Yeah, she kind of hates it. And then she goes into the bathroom because she's like crying and she's really upset. And then she opens the gift and Matt made her an entire watch. And then she goes back downstairs and has a talk with Will about how their relationship is not going to work. She's finally breaking up with him. This has been so painful to sit through. Finally. My dinner is getting cold because of this. And then the clock stops, just like in the story. And then she runs off and goes to Matt and they kiss and happily ever after. And that's the movie. The most interesting thing that happened there was the car crash, honestly. The movie, I was pretty much begging to be over, just because, honestly, a lot of that conflict could have been solved in, like, a minute. Like, I don't know. I don't know relationships. I've never been in a relationship. But, I don't know. I just feel like it should have been obvious that Will didn't care for Alice. I feel like it should have been obvious. I don't know. This was a huge step down from last year's. Last year's ended bad, but at least the plot was interesting. This one, the plot was predictable from the title alone. And just, I just kind of wish it was better. Oh well. Well, I've done it again. I watched another Hallmark movie. I'll probably do this again next year because the weird person on the phone said it was annually. I don't even know who that was. She sounded like exactly like me though. Really weird, really weird. This will probably come up later. I don't know. But yeah. That's kind of it. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever you celebrate. I really hope that the rest of this year goes really well for y'all. And I hope that next year also goes really well for y'all. Because I don't know if I'll upload. No, I will upload something this weekend. But I recorded it before I made this video. So yeah. But yeah. This has been AC of the Side Us Things channel. And bye!